All right, what's going on, you guys? Nick here with Nick Strength and Power. I've got a couple of interesting stories for you guys today. The first story that I've got for you guys today. As you guys saw in my earlier video today, we already got the competitor list for the 2022 Arnold Classic this morning. But also, I wanted to kind of not let this part slip through the cracks because I think this is an important part of the Arnold Classic story for 2022. And that is that the Arnold is paying more than the Olympia in classic physique, which I think is very impressive, and I don't want that to be understated. And as you guys can see here in Terrence Ruffin's post announcing that he will be defending his Arnold Classic title this year, or this coming year, I should say, Terrence says, "I guess the cat's out of the bag. I'll be defending my title at the 2022 Arnold Classic. I want to give a special thanks to Schwarzenegger and his entire Arnold Sports team. I made it clear that I had no intentions of doing the show if the prize money stayed the same as this year, so 2021. Thankfully, they saw the value that classic physique brings and stepped up to the plate. From $7,000 to $60,000 for first place is a huge win for the division." So I do think it's important that we acknowledge here that the Arnold at least appears to be listening to what the fans and athletes both have been saying about classic physique, that is drastically underpaid. I mean, if you think about the fact that the Arnold was previously a $7,000 for first place show, for classic physique, the division and the popularity of the division is much bigger than that. And we the fans and the athletes, I'm sure, have wanted to see these competitors get rewarded and paid accordingly. So they're getting paid $60,000 for first place at the 2022 Arnold. The Olympia this year, the 2021 Olympia, paid $50,000 for first place in classic physique to Chris Bumstead. So the winner of this upcoming Arnold Classic in a couple of months will be paid more than Chris Bumstead was paid at the Olympia. So what that means is the Arnold Classic effectively is raising the bar. I would say the Olympia now almost has to raise the bar in 2022 and pay the classic physique guys more, which I think is what everybody wants to see happen. Now, I know a lot of people were making a big deal about the fact that the Arnold actually dropped one of the women's divisions. I believe it was women's physique. And that's kind of the uncomfortable conversation that needs to be had, because the reality is, if the prize money is going to be increased for the most popular divisions, I would say the most popular right now is men's open bodybuilding, but I would say it's very close between men's open and classic physique from a viewership standpoint, at least. Now, the other divisions, they have a pretty big popularity base in terms of who competes in them. A lot of people compete in men's physique. A lot of people compete in women's bikini. But I would say the two most watched divisions on the pro level are classic and men's open, and I think they're very close. The reality is some of the other divisions have a lot less viewers, but a lot more or equal to prize money as a division like classic physique. So the uncomfortable conversation that needs to be had is, if this is the direction that it's headed and that we want it to head and that we want the classic physique guys to get paid more, maybe some other shows might need to follow that model and potentially cut out one of the less popular divisions. And if I hadn't told you that it was physique getting cut out, and I told you that the Arnold was still having figure, fitness, bikini, and wellness, would you have even known that a division was missing out of there? Honestly, how many of you guys would have known that one of those divisions was gone? But anyway, it's an interesting discussion, and I just really wanted to include that in this video because I think it really is a big deal that the Arnold is paying more than the Olympia in a category. And I believe the other categories like men's open bodybuilding, they're pretty much equal to what they're paying at the Olympia. So I think first place in open is $200K, second place in open is $130K, and third place in open is $70K. And at the Olympia, it was $400K for first, $150K for second, and $100K for third. So the Arnold is definitely stepping things up, and it is impressive considering the fact that they lost so much money. If you guys remember the 2020 Arnold, the COVID Arnold, it got shut down. The expo got shut down. They lost a ton of money on that deal. And the fact that they're bumping the prize money up this much, I think, is pretty impressive. Now, next up in the news, let's talk briefly about Carlos Thomas Jr. This is a guy that's going to be competing tomorrow in NPC Nationals. He's looking to get his IFBB Pro card. We've talked about him a lot on this channel because I believe he's got a ton of potential, and I really think it's not going to be too out of the question for him to be an IFBB Pro in the very near future. He posted a couple of updates, the most recent one being this one posted 4 hours ago at the time that I'm recording this video. Kind of a side shot of his legs. And really the main thing that I wanted to see him improve between his last appearance to qualify for nationals and this one was the detail in his legs. And the size of his legs is good. He's got some pretty good size to his legs. And then he also posted this shot from the front on of the separation in his quads. And this is what we need to see from him for him to do well at this show. This is what I want to see. And this was my main criticism, was more separation, more detail in the legs. His legs look pretty insane, especially in this front on shot. I'm really excited to see what he's going to be able to bring to the stage tomorrow. Looking at these two shots of his legs, we know that he's dialing it in. And if we go over to this shot at 3 weeks out, we know he's got the upper body. His arms are crazy. The roundness and fullness that he has is crazy. Crazy V-taper, insane V-taper. Teeny tiny waist. This guy, I really think he's going places. I really am excited to see what he puts together for nationals tomorrow. And I'll be excited to see if he gets his pro card. Carlos right now is the #1 amateur bodybuilder that I've got my eye on in the NPC. I think he's really going places. So now that we know who's competing in men's open bodybuilding for the Arnold, let's do a couple of physique updates at what right now would be around 12 weeks out from the Arnold. So the first one just posted today, William Bonac, posting a physique update, 2 back lat spread photos. And we know that in 2022, William Bonac will be trying to get that title back after being absent from the 2021 Arnold Classic, where he would have been the defending returning champion that Nick Walker would have had to knock off to win his title. So based on the lineup that we've seen so far, I would say it's a safe bet that Bonac is one of the favorites to win the 2022 Arnold Classic, on the merit that he's a former Arnold Classic winner alone. And then, of course, you had Regan Grimes a couple days ago putting out his unofficial 12 weeks out from the Arnold Classic updates. So we have an idea of how he's looking, and I think he's going to be kind of a wild card in this show, especially considering the fact that now he's got a new coach in Milo Sarshev, and the fact that he's really turned around his physique from the standpoint of now he's winning shows. He went from 15th at the Olympia, and in a matter of weeks turned that around to being, one of the top guys at the shows that he was doing and winning shows, like the KO Pro show in Egypt. And that's really one of the things that we're going to be looking for in this lineup, I think, is guys that we haven't seen on the Arnold stage recently, or the Olympia stage recently for that matter. You've got guys like Nathan in this lineup that have won shows recently. Show winners are always dangerous in any lineup, regardless of what the show is that they've won, because there are a lot of names in this Arnold Classic lineup that haven't won any shows recently. So guys like Regan, guys like Nathan, guys like Samson Dauda that are show winners, but maybe we haven't seen them on the Arnold Ohio stage recently, and we haven't seen them against some of these other guys that are in this lineup recently. Those are wild cards to me, and I think Regan is one of them. Now, also today we got an off-season physique update from Hadi Choopan from his friend Parsifar Mahdi. Now, the caption on this was, "Do you know a bodybuilder that looks like this during the post-match break?" referring to the off-season optimistic and effective advertising on the Iranian Wolf page. So that is basically saying this is his current shape. This is off-season shape after the Olympia. And honestly, I was kind of hoping to see Hadi Choopan's name on the Arnold Classic list, so that's kind of why I wanted to cover this off-season post, is because he was a guy that I really wanted to see in that lineup because, like I said, I mean, you've got Brandon Curry in here, William Bonac in here. Brandon just beat Hadi at the Olympia, and you've got kind of this rematch between 2 and 3 in Classic Physique in Terrence and Breon. It would be really cool to see a rematch of 2 and 3 in Men's Open at the Arnold as well between Brandon and Hadi, but it looks like we're not going to see that. And I guess, what the newsworthy part about this is if Hadi is focusing exclusively on peaking for the Olympia and Brandon is not because he's doing the Arnold, does that give Hadi any advantage at all over Brandon Curry? Probably not. I mean, they're far enough apart that it really probably doesn't matter, but it is an interesting element between Hadi and Brandon when they do step back on stage for the Olympia in 2022. Now, the final story that I've got for you guys today, Dorian Yates responds to being called a scammer in regards to his online coaching services. Now, this is really the first I'm hearing of this, any kind of Dorian Yates scam, but this was his response to these supposed allegations.
Hey, what's up, guys? Dorian here. I'm here today to respond to a video that's been circulating on YouTube, basically calling me a scammer. Okay, that's kind of funny. Why would I want to scam anybody? Anyway, it's not only a bit amusing, it's also upsetting, because I take a lot of pride in my honesty and straightforwardness. Anyone that knows me will tell you that's who I am. So why I would be interested in scamming somebody, I don't know. But anyway, the video is mainly concentrating on the sales and marketing company, which I've employed to sift through all the inquiries, literally hundreds of inquiries a day. I don't have time for that. I've got other things going on. So the selection of the clients and the sales of the clients is with a marketing company. And as the video points out, I wasn't really fully aware of their strategies. Not dishonest, but maybe too aggressive. Anyway, the point is, that's the sales and marketing company. Once the clients come through to myself, they're coached by myself and myself only. So as you can see, I'm on here sending video messages and text messages. I'm online myself probably a couple of hours a day working with my clients. So it is me that everybody's working with. So a scam implies that you're taking money or taking something from somebody without providing the said services, which isn't true, as I am providing the services, and I have a lot of happy customers. I've been doing this for over a year now, and if the customers were not happy, they will be very free to leave. So there's no scam going on. There's only coaching by me on my platform, DY Academy. And further to that, if you're interested to get on the platform and work with me, you can send a DM to Instagram, Dorian, and the team will get back in touch with you, and I will ask them to modify their approach. All right, guys, thanks a lot. Cheers.
And that's going to wrap it up for the video today, guys. I hope you did, in fact, enjoy it. Please give it a thumbs up if you did enjoy it. Please subscribe to the channel if you have not subscribed already. The likes help out a lot. Subscribing helps out a lot. I love you guys. Appreciate you guys. Nick Strength and Power signing out.